How about you puff me from the back and use my balls as a dessert, bub?
It's the Catican.
No. We're not doing that today. It was gluten free. Yeah, no buns.
Hey, it's me, your buddy Ben.
Today's episode is brought to you by the premier app for discreetly meeting local skaters in your area, Grindr.
Colin Chandler 1-for-1 on long twos.
Some would say the heir to the Kawhi Leonard throne, Colin Chandler. I called a friend of mine who made a theme song for us. And I don't want to brag. It's Danny Cherokee.
You calling him a White Claw?
what a great name.
Are you a skateboarder looking to connect with other skaters nearby? Then check out Grindr, the app that helps you discreetly meet fellow skaters. Whether you're searching for a truck stop, rest stop, or a back alley to perfect your tricks, Grindr helps you find the perfect spot to meet up with like-minded skaters.
Love to blow that 10 into 15 into 20 and really feel comfortable watching it.
Like the what?
What?
You'd like to what?
Blow that 10-point lead into a 15 lead or a 20-point lead. But
Wait, what do you think? Are you blowing 10s or?
If I'm lucky, yeah.
Single skaters, jacked skaters, down for whatever skaters, you name it. But let me tell you, this app is legit. Just ask my girlfriend. Now she's totally on board and has agreed not to ask me about it anymore. I'm connecting with skaters all over the place. So pull out your skateboard, whether it's in your garage, attic, or buried deeply in your closet. Download Grindr today. Start connecting with your local skate community, because sometimes the best rides are the ones you share.
And honestly, I thought we went through the back door way too many times. Like I feel like that should, on that type of offense.
Can you go to the back door too much?
You certainly can, depending on a variety of circumstances. Actually,
Experience mostly, yeah.
Preparation, before.
Yeah, the preparation ritual to go to the back door is significant.
48-hour notice is what I've. Is what
Yeah,
I've
that's what I tell my wife.
The Troy game, loved it. Huge for me. My wife's boyfriend's name is Troy, so when he was picking her up to take her out on Friday night, she'll be back in the morning. I was just like, "You guys are going down tonight," and he's like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "They're playing Troy." He was like, "I went to Brown." I was like, "I didn't know you went to an HBCU."
All right, degenerates, listen up. One of your uncle's top 5 favorite podcasts now has merch. That's right. You can finally wear a shirt that says, "Yes, I listen to dudes yell about sports," and "No, I haven't paid child support this month." So lay off, Linda. This merch pairs perfectly with butt-heavy, long chairs, and screaming about Doug shouts. There has never been a better way to publicly display your virginity. So hit the Catican merch store right now. Buy it before we forget to pay the bill for the website. Toodaloo, mother.
Do it! Just do it! Another one.
Can't hear you, bud.
I think you're on mute, Jared.
I was muted. You know what? It's week 1 for me too.
Oh Lord.
It's the Catican. January 28th, 1986. Space Shuttle Challenger broke apart 73 seconds after liftoff from the Kennedy Space Center, killing all 7 aboard. The Rogers Commission determined the cause was failure of an O-ring seal on the right solid rocket booster in unusually cold temperatures, allowing hot gases to escape, trigger the vehicle's structural breakup. NASA halted shuttle flights for nearly 3 years, redesigned the boosters, and overhauled safety and decision-making processes to prevent a repeat of the disaster. And speaking of disappointing performance involving rockets, Kentucky beats Toledo 24-16. Fellas, how we feeling?
Way better than I think you guys feel about it. I think it's a fine result. We'll get into it, but I mean, Toledo's a good G5 team. A lot of experience coming back. I feel like there's a lot of positives to take from it. I don't feel like it was as close as the score indicated, honestly. Never felt like it was threatened.
I mean, they could have scored, and that it was like we were one punt away from giving them a chance. I don't know. I thought the things that are sticky through the season like the defensive line play, the offensive line play, the rushing attack. It was all better than I expected, which is good.
Yeah.
The passing game was rough. I think that's probably what we'll talk about. But also, I did notice that the merch store says the Catican.
Does it really?
Oh no.
Okay, well, in the video it does, but I fixed that later. I also just realized I didn't add it to the bio, so I gotta go back and put that in there.
We're off to a strong start week 1. I love it.
Hey, week 1. Let's go. But I can tell Mark Stoops is motivated. And yeah, I mean, there was a few Kentucky things that happened. Yeah, like a safety.
The safety was bad. Yeah, that was tough.
Almost, muffing a punt, that kind of stuff. First week, though, it could have been worse.
I agree. I think a lot of in today's day and age, we have, like they said, Kentucky has one of the more experienced O-lines as far as just total starts go in the country. Not together per se, but like total starts, but like that cohesion you got to build. I really don't take a ton away from. I know it's closer than we'd like it to be. Toledo's a really good team for the G5 level. It's a game you should win by a couple touchdowns, but I thought there was a lot of positives there. The passing game being the biggest disappointment, but I don't feel like we're going to agree on why that was the case. But we'll get into that a little bit. But I feel like it was you come out of the gate one of one. You know what I mean? Like you new starting quarterback, a whole different receiving core. I really like what Caddis did, but like a win's a win. Week 1, it's gonna be tough sometimes, and I feel like they did enough to win. They probably did. They probably could have won, but this game should have been a 2-3 touchdown game. But they hang on for the win there. But I didn't feel as bad about it as you probably did. It seems like.
I mean, it feels like I think 3 out of 4 plays we had the safety, the interception, and there was something else that happened, right? The fumble. I mean, that's I think that's the difference between us barely winning and probably us blowing them out.
Yeah.
Not a great performance, especially from Calzada. I think he was 10 of 23. Just kind of seemed to be spraying it all over the place. I wish he would step up in the pocket more. He seems to want to drop really far back, and when the pressure comes, he goes further back. You want to, some would say you'd want to step up in the pocket.
Fair enough. He wasn't great today, but I'll say this: it felt a lot better than any time last year. To me, at least, that there was a threat. His read option game was a lot better, I felt like, than the read option game's been in a couple of years. I felt like there was some decisions that, like, the safety wasn't a great read. It was bad. I mean, things like that happen, but I don't feel like he played as bad as the stat line would suggest. I feel like there's a lot of miscommunication just because a throw looks one way. It doesn't mean the receiver didn't run the wrong route. We really don't know, unless we had the call sheet ourselves. So I try to assume that the guy that's played 6 years of college football, he understands like route trees and things like that. I think there's some miscommunication, but I'm not gonna bury the guy after one game in which they won, and he had some really good reads running the ball. He had some really timely throws that he did make. And again, Toledo's no slouch. I know people want to poo-poo it because they're a G5 MAC team, but really they have a lot of returning experience. I felt like the defense, though. I know we talk about Calzada a lot, but I feel like the both sides of the ball, offense and defensive line, had showed some real improvement over last year. I remember watching a very piss poor Auburn running back run for 240 something yards against Kentucky last year, and pretty talented back today. They held them to 59 yards, I think, total. Toledo did, I think, with the sack numbers and stuff.
UK legend train him.
He's a good running. Hey, he showed flashes. That's a good running back. He really is. I know we want to, dog him or whatever, but like the defense, our edge contain was left a lot to be desired. I felt like we. Between tackles played really, really well. And I felt like we had a lot of push forward, but I feel like our DNs lacked a lot of discipline. We got burned on the outside quite a bit when they cut it out. We'd have guys way too upfield. But overall, I feel like defensively, there's a lot that we could like. Aside from that last drive, I feel like we were playing prevent defense, just letting him take 10 yards underneath every time. But
I think that was just to run the clock out, get the hell out of there.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm saying I think it was better. I know 24-16. The score is what the reality is, right? So it was an 8-point win, not great with what you'd expect. But I think honestly, given the way the game played out, it didn't feel like it was really ever really. To me, it didn't feel like it was in danger. It was annoying, but that's what a good G5 team is going to do. They're going to make it tough. They're going to make it, and it's never going to feel good against a team like that because you want to win by 30. You're Kentucky, you're the SEC. You want to blow them out, right? But there's still on the other side of the ball, there's 11 guys that are getting paid to play as well. That are what the best. They were recruits from their high schools, the best player on their teams. There's still D1 athletes on the other side of the ball. So anytime you can win in college football is a big deal, and I think it was a win's a win. I think they're only going to go up from here, but a little closer than we expected, I guess.
And apparently they're the one they have the most like continuity of like college football,
which is massive. I know it doesn't account for a. Yeah, I mean, especially for game one, you're exactly right. I don't think we see another passing performance like that. I think that we ran the ball for 220. Obviously, a lot of that came on that one big run, but the push that the O-line got, the pulling guards were getting out in space. I really liked what I saw from the O-line. Mm-hmm. I felt like that there was a purpose to it. I feel like at times last year, it felt like we were getting pushed back on every single play, right? We had a couple breakdowns where we didn't, we left a guy unblocked, or on the defensive side, we had a couple of gashes that they hit us with. But I think the line play was my biggest takeaway. Much improved, more physicality. And this team, by the way, this Toledo team is better than either of the. I don't remember. It was Southern Miss and somebody else we played last year.
Southern Miss,
far better. This Toledo team blows those teams out by 40. This is a much different G5 type team than what we played last year. I know that it doesn't. You're in the SEC, so it doesn't really matter. But my point is it's not as if we beat Southern Miss by 8. You know what I mean?
I agree. I kind of have split brain takes on this. Mm-hmm. So would you rather have the positive one or the negative one?
Go negative first, and then we'll go positive after that.
Okay. I see what you're saying about us beating a solid G5 team that one would think. Last year we did beat Southern Miss 31-0. In kind of a weird week one game.
Lightning delay and all that shit. Yeah.
And then I think they called it off somewhere in the second half.
Yeah.
And Brock Vandergriff looked really good week one.
Yeah.
Against Southern Miss.
Okay.
So it's hard to have too much to take away from playing one of these games week one. But if I'm being positive, the O-line looked much better.
Yeah.
Much better than last year. And the defense looks much better than last year. And I think those are the two most important things as far as winning football games go. Those are the most repeatable things that you could hope for week to week is your offensive line playing well and your defense. That's going to at least keep you in some games if those two things are performing well.
I think both of those are fair takes. I think I the Southern Miss thing, like I think it's one of those things like where like last year it was more of like a we kind of just overpowered them, and it was we're faster, bigger, stronger. But there were signs in that game, even 31-0 or whatever, that it felt like there was obvious weaknesses within the team. I today I know we didn't play well as far as throwing the football, but I have 1,000% more confidence in Calzada than I did anybody last year to be able to figure that out. He's played major D1 football. He's played in big time games. He's played for several years and has done well in those years. It's not like he was a highly touted recruit that never got any time anywhere. He's played. He's beat Alabama. He's beat he's played in big time games. Had great stats at Incarnate Word. I think it takes time to build chemistry with the receivers, things like that. But I think there's a lot to be excited about from what we saw, especially Caddis, the tight end. I think he's going to be a real safety net for him. So I'm trying to look at it in the positive way. I think there's a lot to be excited about. Obviously, it's not the result you'd want right off the bat. You'd want to beat them 31-0. But I think that there's more positivity to come from a 24-16 win over this Toledo team than there is a 31-0 win over Southern Miss last year.
And you would think that the quarterback would be pass happy to a tight end earlier in the season because that is sort of your safety blanket, your check down. That is what you would expect to see, and that's what you would want to see early on in the season. And you're right. I think if anything is going to get better over the course of the year that you can be confident in, it would be the chemistry between the quarterback and his wide receivers. So the potential is there, and I'm not even like the most positive Kentucky football fan, I think we're going to get, there's a very real possibility we just get absolutely wrecked next week against Ole Miss.
I think next week's going to be a litmus test for the season for sure.
Yeah.
Is it at home or is it away?
I think
it is at home.
We played good ball though. Like we did the football stuff right. Which is not what, like, even in that 31-zip win last year, we did not play like good football.
That's what exactly. Yeah, yes, I agree 100%.
That is very, very encouraging to me. It feels like, so I don't know exactly what the problem, and we'll probably find this out as we go along, what the problem was with those, anything like past 7 yards, just being either the receiver ran the wrong route or Calzada, and maybe we have too many like option routes or something.
They were so off at times that I feel like it has to be a communication issue or something like that. You know what I mean? Like it's not like it's in the dirt like 3 yards ahead of him. Like he threw the right spot, but just had a bad throw.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying against a verse like Vandegrift last year or even Bully or whatever. And we'll get into this more, but I felt like there was always a threat of the like you had to respect it a little bit more than you did last year. I mean, we had a quarterback medically retire, like that we brought in for to be the starter last year. So, I mean, I feel like it feels weird to say an 8-point win over Toledo. Feels like I honestly feel better about the season than I did before the game.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure.
It does feel like we're back to playing Stoops ball, which is just run the damn ball and play good defense.
And we had 2 good running backs today, which is nice. So we had good tight end play. We had good running back play. We had good offensive line play. We had pretty decent like DB play. And then I thought the defensive line and the linebackers were very, very good. And
between the tackles, I feel like the front 7 played really well. They got a little bit, sucked in on the inside. They didn't want to, the contain was pretty poor for the most part. They bounced outside a lot on us for some decent gains there. But the DB play felt like it was either feast or famine. I mean, there was the one where their quarterback threw off his back foot, right? And that was a touchdown if he even has a semblance of a decent throw. He was wide open.
Yeah.
Now, it's a coverage break. We get lucky, whatever. Those happen every game to everybody in one time or two. But I feel like the stop the interception to start the game really revitalized the offense after their first possession, right? And that led to that score. And honestly, this felt like it could have got out of hand. We navigated the middle 8 pretty well. We didn't let them really take advantage of those back-to-back possessions all that much, which they set it up really well. I mean, Toledo did almost everything right to pull an upset here. Like, did they have to pull to beat a team like this on the road as a G5 team? They did almost everything they needed to, but in the end, they couldn't stop the run, and that's the biggest thing. I think that our running attack, it was much more physical. Like we got out physical in every single game, even Ole Miss last year. Games we won, we were really on the receiving end of a lot of the physicality last year. I think that changed a little bit today, even against the Sun Belt teams or whatever we played last year. I felt like today was a big step in the right direction. It was definitely a more physical team. They didn't execute all the time, but they played much more physical.
I liked the way they came out. The first drive, we had the holding that put us behind the chains, converted 3rd down, getting more vertical. Then I believe after we got that first down, the next play they got a little too cute, gets blown up on 1st down, you're behind the chains again, and then he goes vertical again. Really liked what I was seeing from Calzada in the first, I believe, 2 drives because he was just pushing the ball down the field. It did seem like when we got out of what was probably the scripted plays going into the game is where it started to sputter more on offense. That is something that I think could get polished up as the season goes along when you get more familiar with the playbook and things start clicking more. This is as positive as I can get about
the coaches will know which ones, like there are certain plays and certain route combinations and like times where they're just not going to sync up because they just don't have that level of coordination or whatever. So they will play to the strengths. Hopefully, I mean that's what good coaching would do. But I like the defense. I think that the defensive backs being feast or famine is actually okay when you have the front guys doing as well as they were, because it kind of gives you the opportunity to make the big splash plays, which I think is going to be necessary to have any productive offensive game.
Yeah.
Is that you're going to need that momentum.
We saw it today, right? That interceptions.
Yeah.
We went and scored a touchdown right after that. It felt like it kind of rejuvenated the offense as well. So no, fully. Yeah.
So I do see there's potential for some really good complementary football going forward, and we'll see what the passing game can do. It feels like there could be some coaching change up. There could be some, let receivers make decisions on where they're gonna be, because they got if you have to have two college kids read a defense to make a decision on where a ball is going to end up. I feel like that is what was happening, and something was definitely off there. But overall, for a first game, a much fewer Kentucky type disasters than I expected, and I think we have the physical tools to still be competitive in the SEC. I wish that Calzada would his RPOs and his what is it? Just QB options.
Yeah.
Where there is probably more upside there with his ability to run and kind of be a tight end, Taysom Hill type guy. I think for big plays there than there is in the outside, especially outside the hashes, passing. But we'll see how they evolve. But these seasons are so short. It's weird.
We had this kind of result last year a couple times, like this type of passing game last year. But we also had Danke and Barry on Brown, and we still were only throwing for 85 yards. So I think in time, Caddis had a really good day. That's encouraging because he didn't have a great year last year. I don't know how many he had a better day today than he had probably all year last year. I agree. I think the RPO. I think this is the first drive they scored that touchdown. The RPO where he read the D end, crashed on the back, and he pulled it perfectly and ran for the first down. And that's something we never saw last year. Period. End of story. We didn't see that read done properly, or even if it was a read at all. I think half the time last year we were bluffing our reads into just being actual draws or QB keeps that weren't reads by the quarterback. Love me some Brock Vandergrift, but I don't think he was reading all that much.
You love some Brock Vandergrift?
He's a nice guy. Yeah. He knew when to retire. It's hard to normally call it quits, but he knew. No, I think that what I mean is I think that there's a lot more upside after this. It was a closer game than other things. Herb Street even picked Toledo to win, I guess, on game day today.
Yeah.
So,
see, I was low on coming into the season.
Sure.
And I'm still the SEC just looks like a gauntlet, but this week, seeing all of the talking heads pick, because over the past few years, it's been Kentucky has been the team that's going to spoil an SEC team's whatever. And we haven't had this was the sexiest upset pick was Toledo over Kentucky all week by the national people.
True.
And that made me feel like, oh, Stoops does this well. Stoops will. He does the chip on the shoulder, whatever type coaching well. So I over the week, I kind of got more optimistic about the season in general, because it's just what happens with the psychology of it all.
Outside of the final score, I actually feel better about my predictions that they're going to, make a bowl game and things like that, because I know 24-16. A lot of that's window dressing. They really had the game in hand before that. I don't think it was as close as the score indicates. Reality is it was an 8-point win, but there was a couple really timely things that happened, like the safety, the turnover. I think they even interviewed Stoops on the sideline between quarters, and he was like, "We just need to chill out. Like we made 2 bad decisions that cost us, a couple scoring opportunities." I really don't think. I think this Toledo win's going to age really well. I think they win the match. I think they're one of the better teams in the G5. Given looks like Boise's pretty down. They may even be the representative. Who knows? Toledo's supposed to be pretty good this year. So next week will be interesting to see. Ole Miss. Have they played a game yet? Ole Miss? Are they playing tonight? I'm sure they're playing tonight, right? Like they
Georgia
play
State
somebody.
tonight.
Okay.
Oh.
So we'll see how that goes. I mean, it's never as good as you think. They always say this when you watch film. It's never as good as you thought it was. It's never as bad as you thought it was. Like it's somewhere in the middle, right? And I think there's a lot to glean from it that is positive. I don't think, it was closer in the end. Like they were, they kicked an onside kick to try to, get back within you get the ball back, be able to tie it. But really, it didn't. I never felt like it was. I wasn't that worried about it. It felt like they were always at arm's length, and 1 or 2 bounces go the other way, and this is a 48-16 win. I really feel like we left a lot out there, and
Yeah.
some things like that. But hey, 24-16 is what it is, and I think it will age well though. Toledo's a good football team, a lot of continuity, a lot of consistency, and they're going to play in the G5. They're probably going to be one of the players for to represent the G5, and assuming they get a playoff bid in the G5.
There was a portion in the game where we had the ball on their 39. It was first down, and I think we threw it 3 straight times and ended up punting.
Yeah, which
Can't do that.
I don't love, because you run the ball for 220 and only throw for 85. Like, run the damn football. Like, just run the football, please. Like, hand it off.
Also, another complaint. I like the running backs. I don't like the way it feels to say Dowdell. I am gonna say Dowdle.
Yeah.
This
Well,
Kentucky,
because like Rico Dowdle's was my favorite fantasy sleeper for so long.
Yeah.
I can't not say it, Dowdle.
So I really liked him and McGowan. We got a good 1-2 punch there. If Jamarion Wilcox dresses out, that would have been a cool 3-headed monster. I don't know if he forgot the shoes this time rather than just forgetting to tie them. I hope he's not injured. Otherwise, that's a bad look for me. If he is injured, get well soon. He is a very good running back. But yeah, I really like the run game. I like the interior of the offensive line mostly. The tackles are what were really the ones giving up the pressures today. They're giving up a lot on the outside, which is why I want Calzada to step up more.
Yeah, so that's what I couldn't. That's the one thing that I noticed too is like, where do you put them? Because
But they brought pressure from the outside. You got to remember that they weren't inside blitzing. They were blitzing the edges, so it is a little bit different. We need to. Yeah. It's a full. These guys have a ton of experience. That's the most encouraging thing. It should get better, but I get what you're saying. Yeah, the pressures were from the outside. Absolutely. Interior wise, if he'd stepped up a couple times, not thrown off his back foot, he probably wouldn't have had the pick. Probably wouldn't have had a couple of those bad throws. So that's a good point. No, for sure.
That does feel like the Calzada experience, though. That is kind of the MO on him. Is he has the gunslinger label to him. You don't have those braids that he has without having a little shit in your game. And I like that. That's fun. But hey, man, step up in the pocket. Don't throw off your back foot. Drive the ball. And let's throw the ball down the field.
I'd rather have a gunslinger, though, than a guy that doesn't throw it, like won't throw the deep. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of like that. That was, at least it felt like there was a threat all the time today. Like, they weren't accurate downfield. And I don't know whether that's the receivers to blame or the whatever, like we've said, but I liked that we tried.
Let it rip.
For real. Because I would love to know how many throws over 10 yards we had last year. It's got to be minimal. Yeah. Like, we damn near didn't do it at all. Like, at all.
So, one thing that, and this goes back to the summer a little bit, where talking about NIL, right? Do you think this year we've spent less money than we did the previous 2?
I don't know. What do you think? I'm curious where you're
I think we have spent less money. I think that a lot of the sentiment has been so negative about the coaching and it's just like, we probably have spent less, but I also feel a little bit more. I feel better about this than I did. It's like after the game, I don't think that Stoops is going to be like chewing dudes out, right?
I mean, well, maybe. I mean, you saw him. I don't know if you saw him the touchdown run. They damn near broke the huddle with 5 seconds left on the play clock, and
Yeah.
they scored a touchdown. But you saw Stoops was like, "What the hell are you doing?
Yeah,
You gotta get it going, brother." Like,
but as far as like they played the football stuff better today than they did for like the previous 2 seasons.
it felt like a more complete style of game, complementary football, all 3 phases chipping in. We had a nice field goal from the kicker. His first kick, he snuck it in there, got that one going. It's weird to say, right? Like the 24-16 versus 31-0, but I feel infinitely better about the potential of this team than I did last year's team after watching one game, for sure. But I bet, to answer your question, I bet we have spent. I don't know. It depends. I don't know what we spent on like a guy like Calzada. And a guy,
Right.
it's hard to say, but I would imagine we didn't spend more.
True Fitty.
Well, like what did we spend on the receivers and train them last year?
Probably a lot, but they play for Toledo and LSU now, so
yeah,
you're probably right.
Stoops says after the game, asked about Calzada's performance, quote, "He will get better. I don't think this was his best effort." I mean, accurate. We're gonna say. Can't say he played well. Finishes the game 10 for 23 for 85 yards, an interception, and an average of 3.7 completion.
There's no way to say the passing game was good today at all. It wasn't, but I feel like there's a lot to be that can be improved. It didn't feel like it was like we were limited. I feel like we kind of like were our own worst enemy in that regard, right? Like it felt self-inflicted more than it did Toledo like stuff in the run or the pass game.
I can think of like 6 times where there was obviously a miscommunication either on the route or on where Calzada thought the route was going to be that would have made that 150 yards. Then that's a whole different day looking at it. So yeah, I imagine that there's a lot of like back to the drawing board as far as that passing attack game plan goes, but it does feel like one of those things that you can fix. You can't fix the offensive line just getting dominated or the defensive line not being able to stop the run, get pressure. I mean, there were several times we were rushing 3 dudes and getting pressure.
We got consistent pressure on the quarterback with 3 or 4 guys. Like, and that's a big improvement. And that's a good old line and a good quarterback. A guy that's been there for several years is comfortable. You know what I mean? We really made him uncomfortable, made him make some bad decisions. It's not like a freshman QB. People look at it and say it's Toledo, and they're not wrong. It is Toledo, but at the end of the day, like it's a good G5 program. It's a good stepping. I really do. I honestly feel better about the season than I did before the game, and I was probably the most optimistic out of all of us. Right,
and holding them to 2 touchdowns with 275, 270 something passing yards. That's good defensive coaching.
I think they only had 59 rushing, right? And they had, and honestly, that felt like their best asset. I can't remember. I had it written down somewhere. I think it had 59 rushing yards versus our 220, which timing wise, we had some timely turnovers that weren't, timely turnover, and then the safety, those weren't great, and then the middle 8 was tough. But I think just as far as it goes, like head-to-head possession, we played a lot better than I expected. I just wish we could have completed a few more passes. I feel really good about this had we, like you said, if we made a couple of those completions to get to the 150 mark passing, like I'd feel totally different. I feel like about the passing game, which I'm trying to keep that in context too, because it was that close, right? Just a couple that don't go our way.
Now, a lot of these takes are contingent that we think that Toledo is mid.
Toledo's not mid at all.
In a world where Toledo might stink. Yeah, but because we like what we're seeing from the D line, we like what we're seeing from the linebackers. It's still Toledo, and we should be able to out physical them in the trenches,
which we did. I felt like we ran for 220 yards and allowed 59. I feel like we did dominate the trenches a little bit. I feel like again it was more of a timing thing. Like they. Disagree with me if you want to, but I feel like our O-line and D-line play were the highlights of the game, with a couple exceptions that were decent busts. But I felt like it was the best part what we did. I don't think the quarterback play wasn't great. Running backs had their moments. Secondary had their moments, but the most consistent was the line play.
This same team clobbered Mississippi State last year.
Yes, that's true.
And Pitt, maybe Pitt as well.
The D line and the linebackers, I think, won the game for us. Now I'm looking at the box score, and obviously this isn't the tail of the whole game, but it is a bit of an eye opener. And I think a lot of these stats were garbage time stats, and we were just giving them everything underneath. Toledo's quarterback, it was 23 for 40 for 270 yards.
Yeah.
About 111 of those came in the last drive and a half when we were letting them go underneath. I mean, we held them in check pretty well.
We shut the run game down essentially. Made them very one-dimensional. Put them in a lot of third and longs, or really 3rd and 5, 3rd and 4 situations, where they sort of had to tip their hand there.
Yeah,
like I said, I think the D line, the linebackers, put us in a position to win the game.
And we did.
I don't know. I don't feel like we're going to be the worst team in the SEC.
No,
good.
I don't think so. Mississippi State probably still is.
And then there's going to be a team that sucks that nobody expected to suck.
I'd imagine that's Vanderbilt. I think Vanderbilt really regresses this year. I really do. I know they had some good wins last year, but Diego Pavia, I love Diego, but I mean, shoot, I've got money on Utah State to beat them this year. So I really do think that they come back down to earth in a big way. They lost a lot of guys outside of Diego. We'll see.
I think Mississippi State, they could be the worst team, or they could just be way better, because I think almost all of their team from last year transferred out, and they have pretty much an entire new roster this season. So they could also just be way better than us.
I think they were in a battle with Southern Miss last I checked. I didn't see the final, but they were.
Yeah, they ended up pulling away.
Okay, they ended up pulling away. Fair enough.
Auburn beat Baylor, so that's not encouraging for us beating Auburn.
I think the Big 12 is absolute ass, for the record, but that's fine.
I do think we beat Vandy, though. Or I think that Vandy is a contender for worst team in the SEC again.
Yeah, I think Auburn is too. Honestly, I think Baylor's that bad. Truthfully, the Big 12 is garbage. I don't want to hear it. I don't think it's a good conference at all. No,
I do think Ole Miss didn't go to the playoffs and really didn't sniff the playoffs with probably their best roster in school history last year.
Well, they sniffed it, but then Kentucky plugged their nose. That's the only reason they didn't get in.
And they don't have Jackson. Who's their quarterback this year?
I don't know, but I think Jackson Dart. Love me some J Dart.
Yeah.
And so they didn't make the playoffs last year. I think we're going to see some real regression from Ole Miss this year. Now, this still could be good enough to beat us, but I do say if we beat Ole Miss next week, then we got Eastern Michigan. Then all of a sudden, Kentucky could be starting 3-0.
If Kentucky starts 3-0, this whole season's different. They beat Ole Miss, this whole season is completely different. I'm telling you right now. That's. I don't think they do it, but if they do, they did last year. I mean,
yeah. Somehow,
some way. I mean, you got to think. Even as bad as we were last year, we should have beat Georgia. That was a horseshit call on that pick six. That should have been a touchdown. They called him down. He wasn't down. I mean,
should have beat Vandy.
Yeah. If Dane Key could learn to shut his mouth, we would have beat him probably. He had two unsportsmanlikes and after big first downs. But neither here nor there. My point is yeah, you're right. They could have beat Vandy at the very least.
In the last 3 years, once we knew that we weren't going anywhere, they gave up. But this is the type of team that I feel like doesn't do that, which is good, because then I don't have to just stop caring about football, because
I'm so curious to see
the portal already.
If they beat Ole Miss, what that does to the fandom, right? What people start to think, because
we start selling games out immediately.
Hey, yeah, I was surprised at the lack of attendance today. You'd think that even if it is Toledo, you'd have some people that want to go to a game, And there was a good third of the stadium wasn't full at the top, the top level there.
Weren't motivated enough.
Yeah. I feel better about the season. I really do. I think that it wasn't as bad as that final score. People are going to look at that if you didn't watch the game and think that was a close one. I don't feel like it was ever in danger. They never threatened. They scored when we played prevent, and we really shot ourselves in the foot several times when we could have scored on other drives. You know what I mean? It woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? But I feel better about it than I did at any point against the G5 teams last year. This team actually, I feel like it has a shot at it. I feel like they're a little lacking in the chemistry department, but other than that, I think this is the worst you'll see them play. Is my point. I don't think you've seen the best from any group on the field yet. I feel pretty good about the team. I really do.
Worst we see them play. We are playing at Georgia, and then we will play Texas and Florida this year. So we'll see.
I mean,
Texas,
it is
okay,
the toughest
so
schedule on paper.
now Texas coming to Lexington. If we are undefeated at that point,
We play at Georgia and at South Carolina before that, so that would be
okay.
that's
Well,
tough.
yeah,
it would be
a game
lit.
day is there if we're undefeated with Texas.
You're also ranked number 2 or 3 in the country if that's the case.
Yeah.
So our slate here is we got Ole Miss, Eastern Michigan. I mean, at worst, we should be 2-1 coming out of there.
Right. Yeah.
If we're 3-0, like look out, like the whole world's in front of you at that point.
Yeah.
Then at South Carolina, if somehow we're able to pull Ole Miss and South Carolina off, then it's at Georgia, and that's game day. Like,
Oh, 100% that's game
Yeah.
day. And
What
yeah,
if we get
South
destroyed,
Carolina, people have them almost like as good of a shot as any other SEC team to get to the playoffs.
it feels like they should have that, but they always find a way to just stink up the joint. Like when I was literally in South Carolina with Jared last year when Ole Miss came to town, and they just whooped them. It's like 20-3. All the hype in the world, the most tailgating you've ever seen, the biggest hype I've ever seen before a pregame. And they got their asses kicked. So I have zero faith in South
I
Carolina.
mean, Beamer is cool.
No,
but how long has
hey,
he
Beamer's
been
got
cool?
swag, but like
How long has he been there?
3,
4 or 5
4
years,
years.
I think.
Yeah.
So he wasn't here back when we had the old school Stoops teams then.
no, that was Muschamp.
Yeah.
So we might maybe this could be the is this old Stoops? Is this new Stoops? Right? Or
Yep.
that would be like the litmus test then.
Yeah.
If we beat South Carolina though, I'm all in on us going to the playoffs.
Let's beat Ole Miss first. But yeah, no, I feel you. I feel you.
Caleb, if we beat Ole Miss, do you want to drive up and we go to the Kentucky South Carolina game?
I feel like if they beat Ole Miss, I might fly out. Like I swear to God, like at that point, like it feels tough. It feels like a big ask. But if they beat Ole Miss, like why not?
In South Carolina seems like a good place to go to a game.
Dude,
they wouldn't like if I was going to Tennessee or something. You're kind of a little bit worried that you're going to get spit on or something. But
Oh no, that could happen at South Carolina game.
it can.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they were, bro. Like, but that's you know what? I'm gonna keep. Never mind. Next.
Okay, so now keep in mind we're saying all of this. We just beat Toledo by 8 points.
Yeah.
But, hey, that's week 1, baby.
Hey,
Host
yeah,
brings the
we
title.
are back. It does feel like a pre-COVID Kentucky football team though, which is nice.
Yeah, Stoops ball is back. I will say this, just throwing it out there. Tulane beat Northwestern 23-3. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
Oh shit.
Jake Retzloff, man, going
Okay,
off.
time out. So what would you rather happen? 7 wins this year. Mark Stoops extension to 2045 or whatever the hell they do.
2045 is
Or
wild.
we just 3 wins, retires, and we go after
Summerall.
the boy wonder.
7 wins for sure, because I'm never going to root for my team to lose. Truthfully, I take the 7 wins because he might still leave. Who knows? He might be tired of it.
You just go out on top.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be true. It depends, I guess, how much he is miserable after this. But it's like, I don't know. It's like we performed worse the more resources we got, which,
Yeah.
is just weird. Because like Kentucky basketball, the more resources you get, the more you get out. Like that's just.
By the way, was that crazy? That UK commercial that they did, was that Mark Pope narrating that? Because I sort of got it. Okay, all right, I thought so.
Oh yeah.
All right, good.
Yeah, he is. I mean, just 1 year of Pope ball, and you would think he was the assistant governor or something. Like he's all over the
And-
place.
Which, I'm not a horn tutor, but it feels so nice to see. Like I knew, bro. That's all. We're all friends because of that whole thing. So
Vindication.
He also just has like this likableness to him, whereas like Coach Cal, and I love Coach Cal, but when you weren't winning, his shtick was just
abrasive. Yeah.
It was a shtick instead of like swag, and and that's just like Mark Pope is just too cool to not like. We went to the Sweet 16. It's not like we've won the Natty or whatever, but people are back, on it.
No, for sure. I was just making sure I wasn't crazy on that. I was like, that's Mark Pope.
This wouldn't be an episode of the Catican without some Mark Pope glazing.
Oh yeah.
Listen, our show goes as Mark Pope goes. Like it's pretty. The name's the Catican, folks. Like if he burns out, we're going out like with him in the middle of the night. But no, I mean overall encouraging. I don't know. A lot of time, week one is weird, right? Like you'll get a lot of things, and people want to glean a lot of different opinions and things that are pretty absolute when it comes to the week one. Week 1 to week 2 is really where to watch. You'll see the most improvement, the most you'll learn the most between those 2 weeks, and from what I think anyways. I think to come out with a win's great. Any Division I football game is hard to win. I don't care what anybody wants to say. Like you might think, it's Toledo, you should win by 3 touchdowns. Okay, I get most people never played football, never watched football, never coached football, things like that. But it is to win Division I football games is tough. It's a multi-million-dollar business. Every school is spending millions of dollars to win these football games, Toledo included. Right? They've got the same 105 scholarship players that are paying a full ride to go win football games. They've got the same guys, the same amount of time that Kentucky. I mean, physically we dominated for the most part. It was a closer game than expected, but realistically, it's hard to win Division I football games. I really don't want it to be like, we barely won this game. Like to win. Any game is tough. This one is a good G5 opponent, maybe one of the better G5 teams in the country. I'll stand by. I'm confident they'll be in the hunt when it comes to the top G5 team. Toledo's going to be very good this year.
Yeah, I feel good. Mm-hmm. But one thing that before we end up breaking off here, what do you guys think about Micah Parsons? My dad's a Cowboys fan, so I'm just cracking up. But I thought if the Bengals had held out on re-signing Trey Hendrickson, they would have had a really good shot at getting his
as a Jordan Love stan, I'm really excited to see the Packers improve their roster. But I mean that's my only opinion.
As a Jerry Jones hater, I am just right.
As a Bengals fan, I was rooting for why not just trade? I would have been willing to do Trey Hendrickson and 2 first-round picks for Micah Parsons, and somehow the Cowboys got less than that in return with Rashawn Gary, 2 first-round picks.
True.
But whatever. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I'm excited for the Micah Parsons is a Jordan Love merchant arc.
You know what? Let it be. If Jordan Love carries him that far, I'll be so stoked. A lot of my merch is going to go through the roof. The stuff I got from Jordan Love when he was at Utah State is going to go value wise through the roof. So we need to see that. Dark horse MVP.
I don't hate the Packers and I don't hate the Patriots.
Yeah,
I hated Tom Brady and I hated Aaron Rodgers. It is nuts to me that, in my head, those were the villains for so long. And I just could care less now.
Hate us because they ain't us. I mean, no one hates when you're not winning, right?
Yeah.
All right, boys. Well,
always hate the Cowboys.
Also, where's Ben, by the way?
Ben said that he would be back. A hot date?
Yeah, that's why
he's watched. Hot date with the Alabama game, probably. That's fine.
I think that he's at MMA Cave.
He's out with the Bengals.
Yeah,
Yvonne and the Bengals. Let's go.
Wait, doesn't he live over a bar?
He does. Yeah.
So maybe he's just at that bar and he's
I'm gonna
watch all day.
Screw it. Let's dox Ben. Let me pull up his address.
I can't imagine living over any business. Like,
I could see you living over like a morgue or something, like in the apartment above.
and that would be pretty sick. I think at mixed use, walkable environments are good. I just have never even remotely lived in that kind of situation. So it's just
it's a very bachelor-esque life, I'm sure.
Yeah. Like living in a hotel or something.
Do we want to give Ole Miss score predictions?
Yeah, it'll be 35-14 Ole Miss.
Have they played yet?
They have not.
No.
They play.
It's gonna be so hard for me to predict. I think that it's a low-scoring game, and depending on how their game goes tonight, they're either in the mid-30s, like Braden said, or their quarterback's no Jackson Dart, and it's a 20, low 20s. Both teams, one of them comes out on top type thing.
I feel like it'd be a closer than expected. Like I said, 35-14, but I feel like it'd be one of those things where there's a garbage time touchdown or two that really push it away. But I feel like it'll be close to the fourth, and I think that they pull away at the end. That's what I think.
So that's something that also Mark Stoops said today in the first interview. He was like, I'm excited to see what our team's like. Like college football, especially with this much roster turnover, it's so hard to know what your team even is until the third game of the season, which is nuts.
You got a score for me, big boy?
27-21.
Ooh, fun. I'm going 24-6. I'm still low on the team.
That's probably the most accurate. As soon as you said that, I thought, yeah, maybe.
I think we get one defensive or special teams touchdown.
All right.
Then it looks like we did some stuff, even though the offense still only put up 2 touchdowns.
Offense puts up 210 yards for the game.
Yeah. They get the 270-yard passing, but the same way that Toledo did today.
Yeah.
Not great, Bob.
All right, fellas. Always good hanging out.
Season 2, the Catican. Love it.
Let's go. Back in the cabin. Feels good. We're back. Kentucky football's back.
There's been a year of development of AI technology. I wonder if you use the same prompt, what happens? You have the exact prompt that you used for the cabana.
Oh, I don't, but I bet you know what? Next week we'll do a little cabin remodeling and we'll see what we got.
I just want to see what the difference is. Because this was way better than I expected it could ever be. Because I was still back a year ago, I was still thinking nine fingers, an extra arm type, but
be
interesting.
The hard part will be the fireplace because it took me
that was
2 hours.
Because that was legitimate. You had to actually become a graphic designer to make that happen.
It was hard. I taught myself graphic design making the fireplace.
Yeah, trying to do some enhanced.
The fireplace was crazy because here I am just talking about graphic design now, but I had to take a video of a fireplace, and then because it'll skip if you don't do it, I had to take the video and chop it up frame by frame for the second half of it, and then basically put all the frames backwards so it looks like the flames are going up and going down.
So that's funny. It's just you were going to use AI to do it, but then you ended up just having to learn a whole new field.
Yeah. But all right, everybody. Thank you for joining the Catican. For Braden, for Caleb, for Ben, I'm Jared, and go Cats.
Go Cats.